What's up, guys? Welcome to the American Horror Story After Show here on theStreamtv. We are recapping episode 5 of this season called Room Service. My name is Xavier Brinkman.
Hey guys, I'm Kristin Carole. Thanks for joining us again. I'm on the live chat as usual. And you can also tweet us, #AHSAS.
Thank you for saying that for me.
I'm going to get better. It's gonna be good.
Getting straight into it here, I absolutely loved this episode. What did you think?
I really liked it. There were so many twisted moments in it. Just the end creeped me out more than anything in the whole episode. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I just love the insight that we got, you know, from all these different sort of characters. I thought it was so cool. I mean, I can't wait to get to the Dennis O'Hare part. Liz Taylor was amazing, but let's just start. Let's just jump straight into it. So, Chloe Sevigny had a really big episode on this one. She started so that we see her diagnosing this kid who looked like he was going to die.
Are you liking her more now? Because we talked about like we're not so sure about her.
Yeah,
like
I've always liked her as an actress. I feel bad when I say I don't like someone. It's like I mean their character isn't doing it for me. Alex Lowe. But yeah, so she's diagnosing this kid, and then she injects his IV with her blood, and obviously turns him. Did you expect?
No, I didn't expect any of that. I think it's kind of an interesting, I thought Ryan Murphy's kind of being like, if she would have vaccinated her kid, we never would have had like this vampire outbreak. I mean, did you kind of think that was like social commentary coming from him?
A little bit, yeah. But amongst many other things, yeah.
But I definitely did not expect, I mean, I figured this kid would cause chaos when he left, because obviously now he's a vampire, he's going to be hungry. We saw what Holden did to the dog last week. Sure. So you know it's going to be a problem that way. I did not think it would, that escalated very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, so the kid wakes up and he's all good, and then he's, you know, what got me was that he was eating like chips, crisps at the start. So I'm like, all right, like he seems like he has a pretty regular appetite. Yeah. And then just, I mean, me and Kristin just could not believe seeing the parents on the ground in the kitchen.
The thing I found really interesting is that this kid lost his sense of humanity immediately. And I don't know if it's just because he's also a kid and he hasn't had, you know, as much connections as, say, the adults who are getting turned, because we see, you know, Chloe's character, Alex, got turned, and she wasn't just all of a sudden a huge killer. She helped this kid. And this kid, the moment he gets out, he's just like, I'm going to eat my parents. I'm going to turn all these other kids.
Well, he was like...
very devious.
For sure. It was so... What got me was it was so calculated.
Yes.
He was, you know, killed his parents, had no remorse, and then it was like when he went into that the school classroom, like he took charge. You know, he's like, you need to drink this, you'll feel better. Everyone else should as well. He had an alibi whipped up about the killer.
And somehow he was able to tell them all of that, like knowing that, okay, guys, the police are going to show up. Yeah. We're going to have to get our story straight. Like, when did he have time to tell everyone? Or is there some sort of a connection because they all have technically his blood? Like, I don't know, like in the stream, they can all hear them, you know, I'm not spoiling anything if you don't watch the stream. Yeah. Oh my God, the strain. Yeah. We're on the stream. Yeah. If you watch the strain, they're all connected to the master. So I wonder if that's not a part of this particular role.
Yeah, it was such a bizarre scene and turn of events. I mean, even seeing Alex at the very start, I thought it was really cool. Like in the medical room in the hospital, just chugging blood. You know, it was such a bizarre thing to see, and I mean, I'm into it. I kind of like it. I kind of like her more for it, you know?
Yeah, and I liked how, because I yelled at the TV, I was like, come on, Alex, don't be so messy. And then because she's got like the blood all over her. And I'm like, you're in the office. Somebody's and then, she threw it away and picked up a new one. I'm like, smart girl.
Yeah, and like, it's a good point what you were saying. So it's like, we've seen Iris get turned. She didn't go around on a massacre. We saw Tristan Duffy get turned. He killed 1 or 2 guys by stabbing them in the neck, but he didn't go out and cause a massacre in a school. Who else have we seen turn?
Well, we kind of, I mean, we didn't see Donovan turn, but we saw like the beginning.
I guess what I'm saying is like, and also Chloe Sevigny turn, and it's like we're seeing these adults get turned pretty regularly on the episode, and they're not going out and doing these irrational, crazy things. So it's so interesting that this child, you know, what is he, like 10 or 11 years old, that would all of a sudden orchestrate this schoolyard massacre.
And I wonder if it's not something where maybe he already, that was part of his character, because I think if Tristan wouldn't have had the Countess, maybe he would have done that, because he has kind of this thirst for danger.
Yeah.
And maybe this kid is the same way, and since he doesn't have a countess to kind of guide him, he's just like, I just want to eat. I'm curious to what everybody else thinks. Like, why is this kid like a huge murderer? Was he just trying to like empower children?
I don't know.
know.
What is the Countess going to do to Chloe 78 or Alex when she finds out that this shit's behind it? I mean, she's got like obviously it's all over the news. You know, she could put it together. She probably will. She's Lady Gaga.
Does that place even have cable? Although we did see Darren Criss and his
watching it.
Yeah.
So she's gonna put it together. I feel. I mean, you could even see at the end. We'll get to that, but like Lady Gaga is very firm with her rules. So I'm kind of scared for what's gonna happen to her.
For Alex.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I absolutely loved it. I thought this is such a cool little twist for her. Next thing, Iris becoming a vampire, kind of becoming a badass. What do you think?
I love Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
This has to be, I feel like every episode she probably reads it and she's like, this is amazing, because she gets to really, I mean, she has great acting chops in everything she does, but this is like a whole different level for her. I just kept thinking back, and I haven't seen it in a while, but with her murder at the end, I'm like, this is like another version of Misery, which is, you know, her big famous role with James Caan.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like she's just like, oh, I got this, you guys. I can kill people or harm people.
Yeah, she did such a good job up until now of being just kind of pathetic, I guess. She was just this like timid, pathetic, I hate my life, but I'm not prepared to do anything about it type of vibe. And then, I mean, it was so cool to see her transition. I mean, going from obviously, you know, a normal person into a vampire, really scared, and then just sort of like, hang on a second, you know, going in and killing those kids, and just how good she felt after it.
Do you think with this newfound confidence, I was a little nervous, do you think she's going to do her own plans now and not worry about Donovan and Ramona? Or do you think
I think she's going to. I mean, you heard Liz Taylor saying, you need to stop taking so much shit. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like she's going to go in and be like, listen, Donovan, here's how it's going to work from now on, all right? Like, you either accept me or like, and forgive me, or I'm out. Or, you know, I'm not going to take it and keep groveling the way that she has been, obviously, for the last 20 years. And I feel like, you know, he'd be like, "Oh shit, Mom, like, that's pretty cool. I kind of like where your head's at, you know."
Yeah, no, it was great, and it was cool to see how I love. We didn't get to see Matt and Angela as much as I would have liked.
Yeah. So yeah, we had one. We kind of had one scene with Matt Bomer and Angela Bassett. We do have a picture if we want to drop that in. I thought it was really cool how
that is like the sexiest picture. Can I just say that?
Yeah, it's a sexy one. Angela Bassett, man, she's just got it, right?
I'm shipping those two.
Yeah, and I know what that
I'm
means.
Putting them together.
And I actually do know what that means. I'm pretty stoked. But I thought we could have seen more than them, but I'm not angry at it. Like, we saw a quick scene where he just sort of you know, burst into her house, and then they sort of formed this weird alliance. But that was before I was turned into a badass. So what are you gonna do now? You know? What's gonna happen now?
It's all different kind of alliances or allies going on, because now Liz Taylor and Iris are together. You know, Donovan and Ramona are together. So all these different people, even Alex and the Countess to an extent, now are together that way, and Sally and John. So they're all pairing off.
Totally. And what did you think of Darren Criss?
It's so funny to see him, because like I've seen him in Glee, so this must have been so much fun for him to just play around with, and that's probably why Ryan Murphy is just like, he just invites his friends.
Yeah, go and have fun.
Hey guys, you're an actor, just go in there for like an hour and just read a few lines. It's good. What did you think of? It's very LA of them.
I know, that's what I was actually going to comment on that. I thought it was actually really accurate that you know, he's like, we're influencers, because, you know, as I said, some people might live in LA, but we live there. We're in Hollywood right now, and there actually really is that culture. You know, if you have like a couple of 100,000 Instagram followers or 1 million, you know, you can really get favored, and hotels will put you up for free in exchange for like a tweet about or an Instagram post about their hotel, or send people clothes. So it's actually like quite accurate, and especially how he was like, oh, I've liked so many of Will Drake's photos. He's liked mine. Like, we're tight, you know?
Yeah.
It was a very
I need to
2015
meet
reference. It was actually really accurate, and I thought that was pretty cool.
God, they were so pretentious.
And obnoxious. I hated them, but I thought they did such a good job. I don't know the female actor though. Did you know?
I think it's Jessica Lowe.
Jessica Lowe.
If I'm getting that correctly.
Yeah, she was awesome. I think they had
she was so good.
I think they played off each other really well.
I saw she tweeted earlier today about being on the show, and of course now I can't find it. But yeah, she was really, really great, and they. Again, I just think that's got to be such a fun role living in Hollywood because you meet so many people like that. They could even tell a difference between the pate with the
cat food. Yo, that is my worst nightmare. Eating cat food or dog food, hate them equally. Oh my God. That was probably the scariest part of the episode for me, is just seeing them just like chowing down on cat food thinking it was pate.
Yeah, no.
Hell no.
I'm still trying to find the actress.
Oh man, don't worry. We'll get it. We'll get it later. But all right, so.
But yeah, it was great that they were doing that, and that Liz Taylor was able to come up with that and help Iris out, and really kind of was a mentor to her, like the Countess was.
Sure, and that's exactly what I was about to talk about. Yeah. So
transition.
Yeah,
helping you out there.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. So Liz, I thought the insight we got on Liz Taylor was perfect. So what'd you think?
God, I love Dennis O'Hare.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, True Blood, and that's where I first saw him in anything was as Russell Edgington.
Yeah.
And he, in American Horror Story, I love what a great character actor he is.
Yeah.
He sometimes doesn't get enough credit, you know, because you have Lady Gaga and Kathy Bates and Dennis O'Hare, like he makes everybody around him better.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. I loved being able to kind of hear his backstory too. I thought all of it was really interesting. He even explained the fact that like he's not gay, because I think, you know, a lot of people probably would have thought like Kathy Bates, you know, okay, just because he does this, you know, maybe there's making assumptions for him. So I thought that was a really cool backstory to explain and everything.
Yeah,
what did you think?
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I agree. I think Dennis O'Hare has done such a good job. He's just been so consistent. Like, he hasn't tried to take the limelight, but he's very compelling to watch. You sort of, you know, he doesn't do too much. He just sort of slides in and out of scenes, but he always steals the show, and you just want to know more. I've been wondering about him the whole time, as everyone has, I'm sure. So I thought it was such a cool scene between Kathy Bates and him that she was like, yo, dude, it's been 20 years. Like, what's going on with all of this? You know? And I love the flashback. Like, he was such a goofy-looking dude, Nick, in his past life. And, you know, pretty cool to see that it was the Countess that had such an, like, was the influence into him not going home. What
did you think of the makeover scene? Because there's a part of me that thought, oh my gosh, this was so fun. And then on the other hand, I was like, okay, what's her angle? Because I was kind of, I'm watching her, because she seems to have an angle with everybody. So, like, did she just want to embrace him because she wanted him to be kind of his authentic self, so to speak? Or was she like, if I allow this guy to find who he is, he's always going to be a good servant to me? What do you think? Do you think her intentions were? Oh
God, it's such a good point. It's like you'd like to think that Lady Gaga just has a nice side, and she just wants to help a closet transvestite out, I guess. But I agree. I mean, there's got to be, there has to have been an angle, and obviously it was. I mean, he's stuck around in the hotel, and he's been working there ever since. So did she just really need a bartender?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe she liked the idea that he had I don't want to say a dark side, but she said, you know, there's a side of us that's in the light and the side of us that's in the shadows. And I think that was part of the connection. But I think she definitely, like, I think she has a good side to an extent.
Sure.
But I think everything she does has some sort of, except for maybe even the little children. Yeah. Because she loves the little children, but she's drinking their blood.
Totally.
It's probably purifying.
Exactly right. Everyone's her pawns. She's placing everyone around for specific reasons. I find it bizarre that like you know, that Liz Taylor would just leave, never speak to his kids again or his family. Pretty crazy. Yes
and no. I have to imagine that the wife wasn't too surprised when he didn't come back, because there was not that great of a relationship. I think he kind of did what she wanted because he's like, oh, she was 30 and unmarried, so she probably just wanted to have kids that way. And they had children, and so she took care of them. And he went off on his own. But when that kid even sat down, and was like, "Dad, I drew you this picture of the place." I'm not on that plane.
Yeah, it was a little cold. I agree.
It was really cold, and I think it's just because he was going through so much inner turmoil that he wasn't able to deal with anybody else around him.
Sure.
One of the things, just really quick, that I love with Dennis O'Hare, what he did, is that if you notice his walk through the hallway, when he first went out to get the ice, and then when he came back, he had more confidence. Yeah. And I always think of that awesome walk, I think it was in episode 1, where he had like the robe on and it was flowing and he just like worked it.
Just Z-snapping the whole way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I thought it was such a cool shot. Him walking down the hallway with the ice bucket, looking so nervously at that maid, and then when she looked at him and looked away, he was sort of like, oh, this is all right. And then by the time he was on his way back, he's just strutting until he ran into those 2 guys. And tell me, in the preview, did anyone else, like, the way they positioned, the way they arranged it was Wes Bentley had just been like, tear the place down to the studs if you have to, like, we're going to find something in there. And then all of a sudden, you see police going in, and then you see the Countess kill those 2 guys. So I was thinking that they'd sent a whole SWAT team in there, and then the Countess was just going to go on a massacre of killing police. But that didn't happen. Did anyone else think that was going to happen? Because I thought it was going to.
Because they played around with your emotions. The police were at the school, as it turns out. And then,
But and if you did think that, make sure you tweet us with the hashtag AHSAS, because we got a live feed right there and we're responding to you guys. So get into it. But next one. So Wes Bentley, what are you thinking of his character so far?
It's funny. I'm really intrigued by him because now there's so many, I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit, but there's so many conspiracy theories around his character right now. I think he's doing a really great job. Yeah. I know some people have fallen out of love with him because he is kind of, compared to everybody else, he is kind of the boring character at this point.
Yeah, but let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Yeah. Yo, it is blowing up online. Is Wes Bentley the 10 Commandments killer? That's the question.
Man, I tend to think, I think he is, but on the same token, I'm hoping I'm wrong because so many people think that. So I think at this point now, on the one hand, it's almost obvious because he's the only one that can leave the hotel at this point, pretty much. That's not a vampire.
Exactly right. And he was the main giveaway, the twist, is that he was invited to the to Devil's Night dinner. You know, so he had an invitation, and Mr. March said, you know, we thought you'd want to come because of considering your line of work, which could totally be a double meaning of like, you'd obviously think it's because he's a police officer, but could it be that he's a serial killer? So I think it's a really good theory, but I just feel like we shouldn't be able, in an American Horror Story, you can never guess the theory this early on. You know what I mean? It's like I'm never right in this, and it's like rare that people are actually right in predicting it, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's the most viable option right now, but I feel like they've definitely got some twists and turns.
I kind of hope it's not him, just because, again, it does seem like this theory is out everywhere. I mean, you sent me that article from Entertainment Weekly where they even asked Wes Bentley, like, hey, here's this theory, like, what do you think of it? And you know, so the fact that people are actually going up to him and it's made its way around to Entertainment Weekly, like, this is a big deal.
And Vanity Fair, I mean, and he answered in the most, like, roundabout, wishy-washy way, so don't even worry about checking that out. Like, it's a good article, but there's no juice in it, so don't stress. But yeah, what else is there? I mean, so obviously, and then one other thing is he has this, he's got this relationship with Sally, who was crying again, by the way.
Hey, at least she didn't leave him hanging in the elevator. Yeah. I was actually really excited for him. You know, he got some with her.
So he had sex with a ghost. What's that like? Are they cold? Does it feel normal?
Well, we saw like a quick flash too of the addiction demon in the mirror with him. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. I always thought too that, I mean, it does seem more and more like he's an alcoholic, but he even said like his wife had said that he wasn't, and that he's just kind of a control freak with it. I tend to think we have more of like a Fight Club thing going on, where, you know, Tyler Durden versus, you know, the narrator Edward Norton, and he's two different people that way, Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah,
and maybe that's it. I mean, he's always saying, I have no recollection, I don't know what happened. Like, you know, maybe that's where he's going off killing all these people and then has no idea about it. The next thing, I mean, with him though, I thought it was interesting. So he's fired from his job.
Yeah.
So what happened? I mean, like, I wonder what he's gonna do now.
How is he paying for that room? Like, gonna continue to pay for it?
How's he paying for the room? Like, what?
Is March like, I'm taking care of it? He's a bud now.
Yeah, right. But it's like, I guess his
together.
job was putting him on the scenes of all these murders going in, which was, I guess, the way that he was being tied into everything that was going on in American Horror Story. So I wonder if he'll just become like more of a separate subplot of the show now, rather than a main character that we're following around. I don't know. What do you think?
I tend to think he's still gonna. I feel like in a lot of cop movies, when they're like, "Oh, you can't go to the scene anymore," they're gonna go anyways. Because and obviously he does have a connection to it. And I'd mentioned to one of the people on YouTube who thought that he was the killer. I'm like, well, it would explain why he found that glue so quickly at that one crime scene. He was able to point out everything so quickly. And for a guy who we found out from his superior that he's been kind of lacking. Yeah, and it didn't seem like that.
And also he said he shouldn't have passed him on the psych test 5 years ago. And also I realized he left one person alive in the like that we've seen so far in the Ten Commandments killing, and he cut out his eyes. You know, that we talked about, and like little things like that.
We'll never be able to tell who it is.
And I mean, even like hammering their tongues to the table, like it's all impairing their speech and their vision. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. And another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. You remember when he got the phone call when he lost Holden, when Holden was on the merry-go-round? I want to know who we got the phone call from.
What they were saying.
And everything. It was like a 30-second phone call, but I feel like that's going to come into play. Like he took a call, turned around, and then he lost Holden. Who was on the phone? Was it a mistress? Was it Lady Gaga? Was it, who was it? But that's what I want to know. If you know, or if you think you know, put your thoughts in the comment section below. Yes. I would much appreciate it. All right, guys, last topic, and we'll cut to a break. So, the very end, we see Gaga and Chloe Sevigny. She's kind of laying down the law, and Alex is a vampire now.
It's so funny because there were so many like crazy scenes. I feel like this week in terms of people. Kathy Bates is all of a sudden the killer or whatever. The part that like creeped me out the most that I had this look on my face, I'm sure, when I was watching it, was when Alex climbed into the coffin with Holden and was staring at him. I'm like, that's more than a mother's love. That's weird, obsessive. Yeah. It just, and there's a picture there now, like, that's kind of creeps me out a little bit, how much she loves him. I guess
she really missed her kid over the years. But climbing into a coffin, I mean, first of all, converting yourself to a vampire, climbing into a coffin, staring at your kid, a little weird.
Just how she was just staring at him, it just creeped me out. Yeah. I don't know, that was just maybe, because, I'm close to my mom, and she may convert into a vampire for me, but I just feel like, I don't know. It's just kind of icky.
And going back to your point before about Lady Gaga sort of pulling the strings in this, she has let Alex Lowe come into the family, but obviously she's like, cool, so you're going to take care of all the kids now, and you're going to handle all of that. Do you think basically she's let her in because there's kind of like a job opening for her?
Basically, I mean, she said that I love that she called it a governess, which shows her age a little bit, not a nanny or anything like that. And you're going to take care of the kids because the other one wasn't so good. Kind of wondering who the last one was.
I mean, was that Kathy Bates?
Taking care of the kids?
Oh man, I feel like there's like a real obvious answer here. I can't quite think of who she'd be referring to.
No, I don't either. Yeah. If it was really brief. Yeah. If anything, but just the fact, I think she had an opening. She knew that Alex was going to have dedication. Yeah. I still think there's some sort of weird connection between her and Alex. Yeah, that's another theory, is that the Countess and Alex Lowe are related. I mean, we talked about it last week, how they've seen behind-the-scenes footage of Lady Gaga at the murder house in LA. It's obviously a flashback, and she has a baby bump. So there's all these theories flying around. I don't know if you guys know about them, but that they are related in some form. Either Alex Lowe is her granddaughter or something, and but there is a connection between Holden, the Lowes, the Countess, Mr. March, all of that. So I hope we hear more about it. Oh, I'm sure we will. I'm excited because we haven't learned that much about the Countess. I mean, we get little snidbits, and we saw her on a horse in the 70s, but how did she get turned? Who's that love of her life?
I mean, and
there's so many questions.
I've gone ahead and assumed that it's Mr. March too, that she was married to, that was his wife. So I don't know. But anyway,
and
guys,
she cried with Dennis O'Hare. That was kind of an interesting moment.
True.
I forgot to mention that earlier.
Love it. Well, man, we're getting too hyped up here. But we're gonna cut to a break right now, guys. We'll be back real shortly. So stay tuned. Cheers. Oh, this is way better, right?
Yeah, it's good.
So
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was freaking love it.
Oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like,
How did you get here? No.
like, kill him, definitely kill him. We're cool.
Shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in.
Rubbed me the wrong way in the right way.
But you were like, well, we want to know what's gonna happen.
That was cute.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world. and
Another
we appreciate
beautiful
you so
summer
much.
at theStream.tv, y'all.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys, welcome back. If you just tuned in, you're watching the American Horror Story After Show here on theStream.tv. We're about to take a couple of Twitter questions, which you can send in. Just use the hashtag AHSAS. That's right now, and as of course all week long, me and Kristin are sort of hitting you guys back and
Yeah, any time of the
getting real
week, send it
nerdy.
to us. We've been saving them.
Yeah, so cool. We're gonna take a couple of questions right now. Kristin, what do we
right.
got? Who's up
Our
first?
first one is at Basin Boat 1. Will Alex now quit her job as a doctor? What do you?
Man, that is it.
I feel like there's some ethical problems with her staying a doctor.
But that's actually a good question. I feel like, now that she's a vampire, is her full-time duty at the Cortez looking after the kids, or does she maintain her normal identity? What do you think in the hospital?
I think she's kind of able to, because it looks like these kids, they sleep during the day, but on the other hand, she can't work 24 hours a day. It's probably going to take a toll on her, even if
she's
she
a vampire,
is immortal.
she might have like vampire energy.
But maybe she just needs more blood to keep up with that. I'm not sure. I do feel like we won't see her as much as a doctor at the very least, because she'll be,
And
she'll
at least
be the
when
governess.
at least when she's at the hospital, she just got blood on tap. It's just a blood brewery over there.
That might not be a bad idea for, someone, just send that out to the kids so they're not going on a big murder spree again.
Exactly. Good question. And you know what? And she's got this whole like murder spree, like elementary school thing to clean up too. So
That's gonna
she's
be a
gonna get in
huge
trouble. She's gonna
problem
get in
for
so much
her.
trouble for that. And also, just while we're on that, I wonder how they're gonna contain that. Like they got a whole bunch of little baby vampires about to go crazy. Interested. They sort of left that alone. I'm interested about that.
Yeah, and they all went home with their parents
Yeah.
and
Oh,
didn't say a
man.
word.
Jeez. All right.
Super little children can be so creepy.
What's up next?
All right, next one we have Irish Girl 1D5 SOS. What if John is crazy and it's all in his head?
Very valid
I
question.
think that is, well, because part of that article was Wes Bentley even said, and maybe he said this to throw us off, maybe he was being truthful, was that maybe he even said, I could not be the killer. I could just be, this could all be happening in my head. I'm creating things to deal with the mess that's going on, that he's just having a mental breakdown.
Sure. I think it actually is such a valid point. It's like, I guess we started off sort of seeing this through Wes Bentley's lens. And I mean, on a side note, he's still sleeping in the hotel, which is just weird. Why are you still there?
Well, I definitely don't think that the whole thing is in his head, because we're seeing scenes that he has no way of knowing about. So doubt, like even like when you're dreaming, I don't feel like I make scenes of random people I meet.
Sure.
I'm usually somehow involved in them.
Sure. I think if it turned out that he was the Ten Commandments killer or he was doing all of this crazy stuff, I think it's a pretty valid point. So much of it could be in his head. Interested to find out. Good question.
I think that's really good. And the final Twitter question for the night, Katrina Marie 8. So what happened to Alex and John's daughter? Is she still at grandma's? Scarlett, just talk about neglect. I mean, Lady Gaga was like, oh, I could see Holden was going to be neglected.
Yeah.
What about frickin' Scarlett? Nobody.
Dude, I've been saying that. I feel like I just keep
You've been
repeating
saying
myself.
that,
We've been saying that the whole time. It's like Scarlett is such a cute little kid, and there's no mention of her. What about Scarlett, man? It is a crazy one.
Do you think she'll become a vampire?
I mean, it would be convenient, right? Like, so we've got
Family of vamps and
so
crazy people.
You've got John staying at the hotel. He's well out of the mix. You've got now Alex is sleeping in a coffin with Holden. Where is Scarlett? What's going on?
I mean, I feel like also she takes care of herself better than I do. When we were talking about riding the LA bus, she's got a phone at like the age of, what is she, 8?
Yeah.
And
I know, that's
she's
another
able to
topic.
do that, and
It's
she
another
was
show.
able, and she even thought, oh, I met Holden, I'm gonna take a picture of him for proof and all this kind of stuff. So she's on her game. So maybe she's just like,
She's
I
a
got
genius,
this,
but
guys.
but everyone's starting to ask that question, like, what about Scarlett? Where is she? Does this mother have like a heart? And
I
yeah,
hope
it's
we have a
such
Home Alone episode with her.
that could be a spin-off, yeah, right? American Horror Story, Home Alone with Scarlett. But that's what a lot of people have been asking that, you know. And if Lady Gaga's accusing Alex of, you know, obviously foreseeing neglect, I think she mixed up kids. Like, I feel like it wasn't Holden that was going to be neglected. I feel like it was, I feel like it's Scarlett. So
they were both, you know, pretty young.
Yeah.
They have similar features.
Right.
I want to do one more question
Sure.
from the live chat. I see stars 1022. Hi again. Why do the kid vamps sleep in coffins, but none of the other vampires do?
Jeez, I mean, I guess like a great question.
That's a really great
I don't know.
question.
Gaga she takes care of them really well and has them sorted out. And
Does it make making sure they get their sleep and they're not, I don't want to say like infected by the outside elements, but maybe that makes the blood when she drinks from them, it makes it fresher?
Sure, and I find it interesting that there's sunlight coming in down
Just
there as well.
just enough to kind of highlight it. Or was it sunlight, or is it just from the hotel itself?
I don't know.
But it looks like sunlight.
To me, I've always thought it was daylight, and I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that they just have just enough to keep. I don't know. I think that's a really good question, because we don't see Donovan in one. We don't see the Countess doesn't have one in her bedroom.
I mean, like they're kicking around during the day and all the different things. So I don't know.
That's a really good question.
Good question. And I still wonder if you know, this whole keeping the kids around and only drinking their blood is like a whole thing to purify the blood that she's drinking and keep her like young and beautiful and immortal. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah,
She could be pure evil like the Countess. We have no idea. Any other questions, or we're all good?
I think we're all good.
All right, guys, we'll love you and leave you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the American Horror Story after show, and make sure you're tweeting us all throughout the week with hashtag AHSAS. My name is Xavier Brinkman.
I'm Kristin Carole.
And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.